Let's go Dolphins! A powerful figure has taken command, quietly, calculatedly, and is already taking steps that could redefine everything we know about this team. His words have generated rumors, his silence has raised suspicions, and the future of some of your favorite players may already be decided, even if no one is openly talking about it. Before proceeding, be sure to like this post, but only if you're a true Dolphins fan, ready for the truth, not just hype. If you're tired of the same old disappointments and want to see a Super Bowl in our lifetimes, leave a comment saying, "Go Dolphins!" We've waited long enough, because what I'm about to tell you could forever change your view of this team. Okay, without further ado, let's get straight to the point. The Miami Dolphins have officially turned the page, and the man leading the charge is none other than newly appointed general manager John Eric Sullivan. This is a seismic shift in direction, and after hearing Sullivan speak at length for the first time since his arrival, one thing is clear: this is not business as usual. Sullivan, fresh off a long and respected tenure with the Green Bay Packers, made a powerful impression in his sit-down interview with Travis Wingfield. This isn't just a guy with a fresh coat of paint. He's coming in with a blueprint, a philosophy, and a purpose. And folks, that purpose might ruffle some feathers, because the message was loud and clear. Miami is no longer going to be the place for overpaid mercenaries or splashy, short-sighted free agent fixes. Those days are done. Sullivan's vision is rooted in building a sustainable winner, and that starts with the draft. "We're going to draft and develop and retain our own," he said. For longtime Dolphins fans, this is a stunning departure from the Chris Greer era, where failing to draft well led to desperate free agency overhauls and blockbuster trades that often ended with more disappointment than success. Names like Ndamukong Suh and even recent trades like Jalen Ramsey come to mind. Big-name players, big price tags, but were they the foundation of long-term winning? Sullivan says no more. He's all about culture, about bringing in young players who bleed for the game, who are selfless, tough, and hungry. But let's not pretend this will be easy. Sullivan made it clear: we have 30 UFAs. You can't bring them all back. That's 30 unrestricted free agents currently on the roster, and that means tough decisions are coming. Beloved veterans could be walking, and sacred cows could be sent packing. He even name-dropped a few players he's high on, and if you're paying attention, the omissions are just as revealing as the inclusions. Sullivan praised Devon Achane, Liam Eichenberg, Brewer, Cam Smith, Brooks, Patrick Paul, and of course, Jalen Waddle. But curiously, there was no mention of Austin Jackson, no love for Jonah Williams, and nothing about James Daniels, all current starters on the offensive line. That speaks volumes. Is this the beginning of a major reshuffle up front? The trenches are clearly a priority, and Sullivan didn't mince words when he said the Dolphins need to be dominant on the offensive line, dominant on the defensive line. That, he emphasized, is where championship teams are built. Coming from Green Bay, he knows what it takes. Physicality, grit, mental and physical toughness. It's not just about blazing speed, fast gets slow, but big doesn't get small, he quipped. That means we're going to see bigger, stronger players coming into this organization, ones that can thrive in cold weather games in Buffalo or New England, not just on the sunny shores of South Beach. And while the conversation inevitably turned toward the quarterback situation, Sullivan remained coy, but there are breadcrumbs. It's widely believed he played a role in scouting and pushing for the selection of Jordan Love in Green Bay. That's significant, because it tells us that he values not just arm talent, but resilience, football IQ, and developmental upside. With Tua Tagovailoa's contract situation looming large and the jury still out on his long-term viability as a franchise QB, this new regime could be eyeing their own guy in the draft. Could a quarterback be on Miami's radar earlier than expected? Sullivan also took the time to describe what a Miami Dolphins player will look like under his watch. Mentally tough, physically tough, relentless competitors with high football character. He wants players who have overcome adversity, who bring intensity and intelligence to the field, and who elevate everyone around them. This is a stark contrast to the old days where raw athleticism was often prioritized over leadership and locker room fit. He talked about turning every avenue into a weapon, whether it's waiver wire pickups, practice squad steals, like Zach Sealer, or shrewd draft day moves. The goal is clear: build depth, build competition, and build a team where no one is safe and everyone is pushed to get better. In his words, competition drives the individual to excellence. And if you're a player reading that, you better be ready to fight for your job, because this regime isn't here to hand out second chances. Now here's the part that should really spark discussion. Is Sullivan's draft and develop vision what this team truly needs? With Mike McDaniel known for his offensive ingenuity, can the GM and coach work hand in hand to bring this plan to life? Or will we see tension as the Dolphins move away from the quick-fix mentality and into a more patient, deliberate rebuild? Let's pick up right where we left off, because the changes brewing in Miami aren't just cosmetic, they're foundational. John Eric Sullivan isn't tiptoeing into this job. He's stepping into the fire with a full understanding of the challenges ahead, and Dolphins fans, you need to prepare yourselves. What he's planning might shake up some long-standing expectations about who stays, who goes, and how this team is going to be built moving forward. Let's start with something subtle but potentially explosive: Sullivan's silence on certain players. During his breakdown of young talent that excites him, he singled out 5 names: Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, Liam Eichenberg, referred to as Brewer, Cam Smith, Brooks, and Patrick Paul. He went into detail about each, praising Waddle's elite separation, Achane's game-breaking ability as a 3-down back, Brewer's athleticism, Brooks' instincts and physicality, and Paul's size and promise at left tackle. But what makes this list fascinating is who wasn't mentioned. Austin Jackson, who had arguably his best season as a pro in 2025, wasn't acknowledged. Neither was Connor Williams or even Terron Armstead, the veteran left tackle who has been a cornerstone when healthy. Now, it's possible Sullivan simply didn't mention everyone, but when you're a new GM trying to send a message, the names you don't say often speak louder than the ones you do. There's a strong possibility this was intentional, a signal that certain players fans assumed were part of the long-term core might not be safe under this new regime. And then there's the quarterback situation. While Sullivan didn't drop any bombshells, reading between the lines reveals something intriguing. He emphasized building a team from the inside out, prioritizing the trenches first, with the quarterback next. That's not how most GMs talk if they're sold 100% on the current QB. It's how they talk when they're either preparing to insulate their QB better or preparing to move on. Let's not forget, Sullivan helped identify and push for Jordan Love in Green Bay. Love was a raw, developmental prospect when drafted, a pick that took foresight and conviction. Now he's shown flashes of being a real franchise quarterback. Could Sullivan be looking to do the same in Miami? With Tua Tagovailoa entering a pivotal offseason and still no long-term extension in place, the writing might be on the wall. And with Miami holding a mid-first-round pick, there could be an opportunity to grab a QB they believe in without needing to mortgage the future. It's not just about QB, though. Sullivan's entire approach is refreshingly detailed and honest. He made it clear that the Dolphins will be very intentional and deliberate in free agency. This is a team that has too often fallen for the shiny object, the big contract that makes headlines in March but doesn't win games in January. He warned that free agency is dangerous waters if not handled carefully. That might be a tough pill for fans who've gotten used to splashy signings, but it's the smart play for a team that wants long-term sustainability. And what about that number, 30 unrestricted free agents? That's not just a number, that's a roster overhaul waiting to happen. Sullivan admitted flat out, you can't bring them all back. That's code for a major reshuffling of the locker room. Expect fan favorites to walk. Expect surprising cuts, and expect a younger, hungrier, more physical team to start taking shape. The days of relying on reputation or previous contracts to secure a roster spot? Over. The culture shift is already visible. Sullivan's emphasis on football character, players who love the game, overcome adversity, and bring others up around them, is going to be the measuring stick. He's putting the locker room under a microscope. And as he said, competition is the engine of improvement. That means no one is safe, and everyone has to earn it. That includes veterans. That includes draft picks. That includes Tua. You can also sense the influence of Green Bay's front office style, long-term planning, valuing draft capital, trusting internal development, and resisting the urge to overpay. He even mentioned wanting his process to last long after I'm gone, referencing how Ron Wolf's philosophy still guides the Packers today. That's a GM thinking beyond his own career, and that's rare. But can this plan work in Miami? Can the Dolphins, a franchise that has often lacked patience, really